Yeah, let's talk about some more reasons why about the rise of the sad boy. Perhaps I do see some like precursors to the sad boy before like the 5 to 10 year period I talked about. So maybe the sad boy has been around for a long time. Again, I wasn't born in the 1800s, so I can't give you an oral history of love. But I do see like influences. Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind comes to mind. That's a sad boy movie for sure, and that came out in the early 2000s, I think. So there's definitely precursors to the sad boy. So I don't want to say that the sad boy is a new thing that is only appeared in this society, but I definitely think that there are certain things in modern society that have led to this iteration of the sad boy. I think also maybe a big reason the sad boy has risen is because it's a lot more acceptable for men to emotionally express themselves in our society. And I think this is actually a really good thing. Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to express your natural human emotions instead of bottling them all up. I definitely think, at least for me growing up in my family, my father was not that expressive, and that rubbed off on me perhaps. But I definitely like how there's sort of, I don't know what caused it, but there's sort of been a movement going on where people are saying, you know what, men have emotions too. It's okay for dudes to cry. You gotta cry sometimes. You don't always have to be the hardest mofo on the block. Let your emotions out. And that's a great thing, I think, because if you keep those emotions in, that's not good. That's just not healthy. It's gonna lead to really bad outcomes, because you pent that up, is just not good. So I definitely think that's a good thing. But it has led to the rise. I think that's why the sad boy has risen, right? Because it's more acceptable to talk about your sadness. So when you talk about it, you see other people who experience. Why can't I pick this up? Because I want to eat this disgusting rotten flesh. You see other people who experience it. You create your own songs or stories or movies about being a sad boy. I'm gonna kill these guys to get their leads. Sorry, llamas. Defend llama rights, but not in this game right now. So yeah, that's the reason why I think, another reason why the sad boy's risen, because you see men talking to each other about their emotions and how heartbreak fucking sucks, which is true. And men crying about heartbreak, which is I think the best way to deal with heartbreak is to just fucking cry about it. So I definitely think that's a good thing that's going on in our society. And that's part of the reason why we see more sad boys nowadays. I think also a big part of sad boys rising, it sounds like a weird thing. It sounds like gamers rise up, like sad boys rise up. Anyway, another big reason behind sad boys sort of becoming bigger in culture is because of the internet. I can't really pin down why. I just feel like the internet is a big part of sad boy culture. Like the Bart Simpson sad boy edits, and like, I don't know, like SoundCloud music. Actually, it seems like SoundCloud and lo-fi YouTube edits seem to be a big part of sad boy culture. I think maybe something about the internet fits the aesthetic of a sad boy. You know, the internet is a place where everyone can go, everyone knows the internet, and you can be anonymous and talk about your feelings, and it doesn't matter if you're white, you're black, you're ugly, you're hot. On the internet, we're all sad boys. We all feel a certain type of way. And something about the internet too is like I said, like fits the sad boy aesthetic, where it's like we're like separated from each other. It's really easy to like be lonely on the internet and sort of like lose yourself on the internet and like just mindlessly scroll for days and like wallow in bed and like scroll through the internet, and then also like message anonymous people on the internet and talk about how sad you're feeling. I think texting is a, I wouldn't say it's a problem in our society, but it's definitely caused some afflictions in our society. This is a bit of a non sequitur, but like, I don't know how I feel about texting, because texting, it's good because like then it's a very efficient form of communication, and I don't know, like you can it's just an easier, it, at least to me, that's why people text, because it's easier than calling people. At the same time, I do wonder like if that leads to a lack of personal touch in our communications, and leads to like the sad boy feeling of feeling like you're alone, and like you don't matter, and when's the last time I spoke to a human being, blah blah blah. I think texting the internet has something to do with that. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do about that. I'm not gonna say we should abolish the internet, but I do think the internet is a big part of sad boy culture, and I don't know, like I think it's great that sad boys can meet other fellow sad boys on the internet and share their experiences with them. At the same time, you do have like an echo chamber, right? Where if you weren't feeling 100% depressed, but you see 10 videos that are super depressed, and you sort of fall into that mindset. I'm definitely guilty of that, where I'll be feeling like sort of sad, and then I watch like a sad YouTube video, and then I'm like, let me just spend the next hour watching sad YouTube videos and thinking about everything I regret in my life. So that's not ideal, obviously. But yeah, that's that. So yeah, let's talk about, I don't know, what is there to be done about the sad boy, if anything. Like I said, I'm not passing judgment on the sad boy. I'm just sort of interested in the sad boy culture, because I think that's why I had my fucking weird ass dream, and I want to know why I had that weird ass dream. So that's why I'm talking about it. Yeah, I mean, I think sad boy culture is good because men can express themselves. That's one reason why sad boy culture is good. You can meet other like-minded people who are sad boys, and maybe not everyone identifies as like a sad boy, but you know what I'm generally talking about. People who are sad can find other like-minded people who are sad. And sometimes when you're sad, all you really need to do is have someone to talk to, have someone who's going through the same thing, and that is half the battle. So I definitely think it's good for that. And I definitely think the overall culture of men expressing themselves more is great. I think that's something we got to keep up. I don't know, like, because yeah, it's just better for everyone involved. I think for me growing up, I definitely struggled, and I'm still struggling with like expressing myself as a man, because it feels like sometimes people don't want to see that. Sometimes people don't want you to talk about your emotions. They just want you to be reliable and someone to depend on. And if your emotions are not 100% all the time, you're not as reliable. But we're humans. We're not going to always be like that. So I think and it's when you can express your emotions, that will help you feel better and get you hopefully feeling a sense of normalcy, feeling better quicker than if you just didn't talk about it at all. So that's something that I think is good about sad boy culture. I do think there are some cons of sad boy culture. I think it perhaps puts women on an unrealistic pedestal that is unfair to them. So in sad boy culture, I don't know, you'll be pining over a woman sometimes. And I don't know, that just doesn't seem that fair to the girl. Again, your emotions are your emotions, and you can express them however you want. But it doesn't seem fair to say, let me think about this. It doesn't seem fair to say this, to put all that pressure on a girl, maybe. And then if you meet a girl for the first time, expect her to have all these things. Go watch 500 Days of Summer. Great movie. But it's basically saying what I'm trying to say much better. Basically, if you, I think it's unfair because, I don't know, how would you like it if someone came up to you and said, hey, you have to be this certain type of person or else I'm going to feel really depressed. And I'm basically pinning my entire life's hopes and dreams on you. That's a lot of fucking pressure to put on someone. And sort of unfair. And I think it's also, I don't know, the sad boy culture is, I think it says that everyone deserves love, which is true. I think everyone in their life deserves love, but you can sort of get that twisted in a way where you say, no, I deserve this person's love, or I deserve love right now. And if I don't get that right now, I'm going to be really pissed and really sad, and why can't I have what I want right now? Which I don't think is helpful to anyone. I lost my house. Yeah, I don't think that's good for anyone. And that is a really twisted way of looking at the world, I think. So I think that everyone does deserve love in their life, but you don't deserve Caitlin's love specifically, you know. I think it's also not good to say that everyone deserves romantic love in their life, which is a scary thing to say. Personally, I'm fucking scared of being alone for the rest of my life. But that's just true, right? There's people who never end up married. And honestly, that's there's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with society for that happening. That's just how it happens sometimes. And maybe they wanted love in their life, maybe they didn't. But sometimes that's just what happens, and I don't think that's anyone's fault. That's just how life happens sometimes. And I think it's dangerous to say, not dangerous, but I don't think it's the right thing to say that everyone deserves romantic love, because that's just not how life is going to happen. And like I said, that's a scary-ass thing to consider, that you're going to be alone for the rest of my life. I don't want to be alone for the rest of my life. But I think that fear of being alone for the rest of your life is counterproductive, because that's going to lead you to act in a certain way and perhaps be so afraid that you don't take chances, you don't, break up with the wrong person to go find the right person, that you just cling on to the only loves that you find because you're so afraid of what if I let her go and there's no one else out there for me? Honestly, maybe there won't be someone else out there for you, but I think most of the time there is someone else out there for you. And even if there isn't someone else out there for you, that's not the end of the world. And I think you can't live your life being afraid, which is definitely not advice I take myself, but as an anonymous person on the internet, I'm telling you, you can't live your life being afraid. So, yeah, don't do that. I think to be a sad boy and think to yourself, I need love right now, is not the healthiest way to go. And like I said, I'm making a very, very big generalizations about sad boy, and probably drawing from my own experiences about sad boy and projecting them onto others. So please don't feel offended if you identify as a sad boy and you're like, oh no, I don't think that way. I'm just mainly speaking from experience and what I've seen. So please don't be offended. Yeah, so let me just, tie it back to myself maybe. why the hell was I simping over this girl on the internet and having dreams where she was nice to me? I think it's because I was having a sad boy moment. I was afraid that I was going to be lonely forever, and I was never going to have a girl be nice to me. I don't know. I think that's a really sad way, pathetic thing to say. I just want a girl to be nice to me. But it's sort of true. I think sad boys definitely don't have, most sad boys don't have bad intentions. They just want love. And who can fault someone for wanting love? But yeah, I think I was having those dreams. This is so weird. Why did I have those dreams? Why did I have those dreams? It's so weird. It's so hard to explain to myself why I had those dreams. But I think the reason why is because I was simping as a sad boy. I wanted love. Not love, I don't know. My subconscious was feeling lonely. And it desired human contact. But I think that desire is unhealthy when it becomes so strong that that's all you can think about. So I think for myself, I think that desire has become strong where I just want, I don't know, a relationship, someone who's nice to me. But that is both unfair to women. That's unfair to this random artist that I had a dream about, because basically the only reason I had a dream about her was because she's pretty, and I think in the very limited way I've seen her in her YouTube videos, she seems nice. But that's not really fair to her, right? She's her own person. She's not just someone who comes into my life and is supposed to make it better. She's got her own things going on, you know? She's not just a dream girlfriend who's supposed to just be there in my dreams. She's her own person. And I think it's unfair to sort of make a woman into these objects, into objects to solve the problems of man, because generally it's men who are sad boys. Yeah, I also think I, had that dream. I keep hating saying the word dream because it just sounds like I was having a wet dream. But I wasn't, guys. I wasn't. Anyway, I think the reason why I had those dreams is because I was afraid of being alone. It's scary to think that you're going to be alone and you're not going to find love. Personally, I do value love a lot in my life, I hope to find it. But I think when you value it so much that you start having dreams about it and desiring it so much that that's all you think about, that doesn't seem healthy to me. At the same time, express your emotions in the way you need to express them. I'm not saying don't ever dream about a girl. That's probably going to happen to you multiple times in your life. But I'm just basically trying to explain myself out of why I had this fucking weird dream. And my explanation is that I was wanting something real bad, love in this case. But that desire is counterproductive because then I valorize women, which is unfair to them, and also hurt myself because then I tie my self-worth to being loved and what another person thinks about me, which I think is this video is already too long, but let me talk about that. Sad boys, they do seem to tie their self-worth to love, right? If they're not loved, they feel maybe worthless. I have seen maybe more posts saying, "Keep your head up, king. You drop this, king." where it's encouraging men to not always tie their worth to a woman. That's a bit of I think, a response to the whole sad boy thing. But I think that's true, right? We shouldn't, no man or woman should tie their self-worth to what one person thinks about them, or even 10 people think about them. Now, if 8 million people don't like you, even then, maybe if enough people don't like you, maybe it's time to reconsider. But if, one person broke up with you, that doesn't mean you're a bad person. And I think to become really depressed after that and say, oh, I'm really depressed because I'm single because one person hasn't dated me, that's not fair to yourself, right? Your self-worth is more than your relationship status. So there's that. And I think for myself, I should just, maybe be kinder to myself. It's fine to have dreams. Dreams are dreams. They're going to be weird. But also, it's fine to have dreams. Whatever. But also realize I wanted to talk about why I had that dream, because it was bothering me for a few days. And I think, thinking about it, that's sort of what I came up with, is that I was both valorizing women and tying my self-worth to being in a relationship, neither of which are healthy, I think. To wrap up, like I said, I think, one, it's unfair to valorize women. For myself, in my dream, it's unfair to valorize this random artist to solve all my problems when she's her own human being. And it's also unfair to myself to tie my self-worth to being in a relationship, right? Because that's why I had the dream, because I was sad about not being in a relationship or whatever. But there's more to my self-worth and more to your self-worth than being in a relationship. Hopefully this video was good. I think I was a bit more hyper in this video than normally, but hopefully it was entertaining. Feel free to leave a comment. Smash that subscribe button. Smash the like button. Leave a comment about your most recent wet dream. And I'll catch you on the other side, guys. Stay safe. Stay sane. Peace.